Flowers, by the way.
Nice. Nice.
Cute.
Hello. Okay, so we are here. See if anybody decides to join us. We'll
Yeah,
get
they
started.
will. We'll get some lonely hearts like me today. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, we had a good Valentine's Day month of February so far.
I mean,
yeah.
Mine's been a lot of ups and downs. Fun vacation, but I was sick the week before, and the last 10 days have just kicked my ass. So I'm ready for March to get here.
It's your birthday, isn't it?
I mean, yes, March is the big 3-0.
Oh, I remember my 30th. I'm 35, so
Nice.
I remember my 30th.
I mean, it's gonna be
I'm
good.
older than all of y'all.
How old are you?
Well, don't make a face.
I think I'm gonna be 37 this year.
You think so?
I think
it's all right. Our cousin Phil is celebrated his 15th, 20th, 21st birthday this year.
Yeah.
My aunt stopped counting after a while.
My aunt did that for 20 years and then she finally gave up. It's the 20th celebration or something. But I mean, I'm excited. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. So 30 is gonna be great. Yeah. So like I feel fantastic. So I'm not as scared of it as I was a couple years ago. Because I'm like, if this is 30, it's way better than 21 or 25 or any of those were. So
yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Well, technically, you're already you've survived your 30th year of life already.
Yes, that's true.
You're just celebrating the end of it.
That's right.
I guess I never really thought about that.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Damn, that just way to make me older, Becky. Thanks. Thanks for putting that in perspective. I'm just gonna go crawl into a hole now.
That's why we do it that way. The years we track it when we've survived it.
Yeah.
All right.
But, yeah.
Hello. 45. Okay. All right. Was your birthday past or already happened? I don't know if she's listening.
That's all right. Okay.
Let's see. All righty. So, welcome back for round 2 of this. Hopefully these books were a little bit more palpable than the others.
Yeah. I mean, they were for me.
Okay.
They were much more digestible.
There you go.
But I still have some stuff to say, obviously.
I got some stuff to say about the first one for sure.
I didn't read the first one.
You didn't read the first one?
No.
Okay, yeah.
I ended up purchasing the first one on Kindle. I ended up buying it because I was like, this is my thing, so I'm like, I have to read them. So let's just dive into the questions. They're the same questions as last time. So we'll just go through the same order that we'll just go through.
Sounds good.
So, installment inspections. Which one were you looking forward to the most, and did it meet those expectations? Jen, you want to go first since this is the first time you completed both of them?
Yeah, right. I was looking forward to Delectable the most. I love single dads. And I liked that this was a relatively like younger single dad as well, like a below 30 single dad.
26, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
26, 28, something like that.
Yeah, because they were like high school pregnancy kind of, or the very end of it. And it for the most part, like, it was good. I didn't dislike it, even though I have some stuff to say about it. Like, it wasn't disappointing. Like, I think it lived up to the tropes it promised. And so I would say, yes, I would say it met, not in exceeds or fantastic of the expectations, but it met them and I wasn't disappointed. So that's where I'll go.
Becky, what about you?
I was only here for Delectable, so pretty much like Jen, I like single parent romances, so that's what sold me on it. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it.
Okay. So. I was really looking forward to Delectable too. That was the one this combo that I was looking forward to the most. And I really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, I finished it today. I read it in less than 24 hours. Because I started late last night and I finished it this morning. And I had a good time with it, but I like single dads. I mean, I married one. So
yeah.
I
thought so. I thought you might have some heart for it. Yep.
You might hear him in the background. He's still here.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Saying something about small appendages.
Oh my God. You're live. People are hearing you.
Oh.
Behave yourself, sir.
That's my husband, guys.
Well, I hope there's not another strange man in
you
your
have to use
home.
my debit card. Just grab it out of my wallet. Anyway, so yeah, that was the one I was expecting the most. Huh?
I said, I hope there isn't a different man in your home at 7:30 at night.
No.
Talking about small appendages.
Just my husband.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good.
My husband's quite the character. He's a goofball. So
I'm glad.
All right. What did our viewers think? Which one was your favorite, or which one were you expecting the most? All right, let's see. Well, I cannot. Let me bring this comment up. I cannot finish either one of them, although I wish I had. I like the characters more in Delectable. I just couldn't get on board with it. I downloaded the sample of Comfort and I didn't like it. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, not
I can understand that. Comfort, I've got some stuff to say about that one.
Oh, I've heard what you said about that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to know what she thought in case she didn't like it, because I was like, I'm going to get through these this time and I need to give them their best chance. But the thing I'll say positive about it is none of these have been long.
No.
Like they've all been novella length thus far.
Yeah.
So even though, because that's the thing about Comfort, we're going to get to it, sorry, but like I definitely skimmed with that one a lot. Like, and that's what was happening when I was reading the first two, right? But I just DNF'd those instead of pretending to skim through. I was like, whatever, I'm leaving. With Comfort, I like made it through it, but it was all kind of a blur, except for the things I didn't like. Because I was like, there was things sticking out I didn't like, which I will have a lot to say about. But anyway.
Let's see what else we got here. Well, I didn't read the books, but I definitely need the hangout after the bullshit that happened today. Oh, girl, we got you.
We got you, man.
Got you.
This reminds me of there's a book series by Claire Kingsley that the ladies in it have something called a stitch and bitch. So they'll do embroidery or work on a crochet project, and they have a stitch and bitch together. And so this, I'm cross stitching. So I'm like, this is my stitch and bitch time with my gal pals. So
there you go.
That's what's happening. So
that's why I named my book club Red Witch and Bitch and Book Club, because we do witchy shit and we bitch a lot.
I love it.
And then we all have red hair. So it's kind of cool. Well, the original ones
need some ladies to bitch with. We all need it. So
okay, so let's move on to question 2. Let me bring it up. I'm trying to get used to these little thingies. So the tropes. Were the tropes that were marketed the correct ones and to use, or did you find something that fit better in each installment?
What were the tropes again?
The first one was second chance romance and suspense.
Yeah.
And that's where I have the problem.
Yeah.
What is suspense? Comfort had no suspense.
There was zero.
I was like, this was supposed to be a suspense, but it was also supposed to be kind of like a rom-com too, because it was supposed to be funny. And I was like, are we going for a cozy mystery with this? Like, what the frick is going on?
Yeah.
With Delectable, I think yes, the tropes that it said, they were there. Yep.
It was like single dad.
Yeah, workplace. It was small town single dad workplace. Yeah. They were all there. Yep.
Yeah, I really liked the tropes for the second one. I thought they were a lot better. But the first one, I get where they thought there might be a suspenseful element because of the whole drug part, but absolute fuck was that? That wasn't even like suspenseful. That was just being stupid.
Yep.
That was just being dumb. All right. Bye, babe. Love you. He's going to a go-away party.
Nice.
No, like the romantic suspense thing was just there was a start of it, but it didn't fulfill itself at all for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't fulfilling. Like I saw where she was trying to go with it, but it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it felt like, oh, I'm going to throw some suspenseful thing in there that I think is suspenseful just to add another layer to this. And it didn't need to be done. Like you could have taken that whole thing out and it would have been completely fine.
Yeah. It had no bearing on the story at all. And
none whatsoever. None.
Yeah. And the thing is, like with that one, it legitimately said suspense. Like it's not like with other ones where like we've said, we're kind of picking the tropes out to share, you know, like the second one, I picked single dad out because it says that, and like workplace because they meet there. Like that's where we picked those out. This one, it legitimately says that it's a second chance suspense.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're asking to deliver. And I was literally like, because that's the thing too, like I got into a certain point in it and I was like, wait, isn't this supposed to be suspenseful?
Yeah. I was like, where's the suspense at?
Okay, here it is. And then it was over. And I was like, no, you failed.
Yeah. So if you had to market that book differently, which tropes would you have actually said?
I would have just said second chance small town. Like that's all that I would have said.
I wouldn't even say like yeah, there was a second chance, but like I almost wouldn't say it was a second chance because there was such a long gap between them. And you never got any of the previous relationship. Like we didn't really get a lot of info about the previous time. So like all of our encounters are this second time. But
you don't have to do flashbacks for that stuff because some people don't like flashbacks. Like I'm someone who I only want to see them if they're pertinent. And I mean, I feel like in this case, the tell part of a show and tell like was okay because what kind of history did they really have? Like they dated in high school.
Yeah.
Obviously weren't serious enough for her to tell him she was leaving.
Yeah.
That was another thing if I was like, so you just left him without telling him, like, why? Like, just say, like, I'm moving, bye, I'm breaking up with you, but to leave without telling, that's the same thing that pissed me off in the first round of books, where she is like sleeps with him and then just pieces out and doesn't tell a single soul that they went anywhere.
Yep.
Who does that? People don't do that. It's not easy to just move. Like, that's something that people put in books and shit, but you don't just leave. You know, like, I mean, it's not easy to just leave unless you really are like a bandit or a like wastrel. Like, you don't just pack up and leave.
That shit takes months to plan.
Yeah. Moving's hard.
Don't.
It is.
I mean, the thought of moving into a different apartment makes me want to like throw up. Like you don't do that. But anyway, so yes, I think that calling it small town second chance is appropriate if that's what it was. But the base of their first try wasn't a lot. Like I can agree with you that it wasn't. I also, though, I didn't need to see it because it was a high school relationship. Like I didn't need to see it, but I can see your complaint to that of like, you didn't prove that
there was even a relationship to begin with.
Right. But
there was
for me, I'm like, sometimes in some romances, the high school romance is this larger than life thing and it's so big and it like scares people. But there's also people you date in your past where like you dated and you were together and like whatever, and then it was done. It didn't always have to be this like star-crossed thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's casual and then you meet them later and you're like, oh wow, I find you even more interesting than I did when you were whatever. But I just never really felt the chemistry between those two anyway. So that would be why I didn't really care about this book at all anyway. So that's
all right. Let's go to the people, see if they say anything. apparently my ex-husband's made just packing up and leaving an art form.
All right.
There are people that can do it, and sure. That sucks. I'm sorry.
No, I mean that's fair. I'm not saying it never happens, but usually like you don't just like disappear. Again, it's not that it never happens, but like you usually don't just disappear without anyone knowing about it, unless you're trying to run away, you know, like an ex or whatever. But it's not like they'd had a big fight or a falling out. She just
it was just like, I'm leaving and I can't take you away from your family. Like,
right. And it's like, well, that's not a decision you get to just make for someone else, you know. But an 18-year-old might make that decision.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I don't want to make them choose. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that was our only comment. So let's move on to the next topic where we actually get to start talking some stuff.
All right.
All right. Comfort. Was there anything that worked? Anything?
I didn't really care for it.
Okay, so there was one thing that actually I think kind of worked. I really liked. Where are my notes? I have to remember because I wrote this in my notes. Let me bring it up real fast.
If you had to write it down, it meant that you wouldn't have remembered it.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Where's my wrap up stuff? Come on. There you are.
I mean, I read 10 to 15 books a week. I write down stuff about each book, or I could never talk about them. And it's not because they weren't noteworthy. It's because I have 50 characters in my head every single week. So there's that.
I have to write down characters' names. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know who the hell they were.
Yep. Yeah. I got tired of just saying the heroine or the hero all the time.
Yeah. Riley's character, I did like him. I like some of his character traits. I liked that he kind of called her out for leaving.
Yeah.
Because you sometimes don't always get that. And so I enjoyed that. And the sex scene that I did get, the wall sex scene, was pretty dope. Not gonna lie. I did enjoy that. I was like,
when they moved back to the wall.
Yeah, the wall scene.
Because he's like, well, we can't start with the wall, but then he picked her up and took her back to the wall.
Yeah, it was like, okay, that's cool.
But I mean, I'll agree. I thought that was a good scene, and then that was it.
I liked him though. I thought he was. I don't know. I kind of wish there would have been more play with him. Like, we got his point of view, but I felt like we got more of hers in that book than we did his. And I enjoyed him in this book. I enjoyed how he didn't want her to be part of like the bakery girls at all because he knew how fucking toxic they were as people. But at the same time, they were just kind of like, you had to be part of them, you know? So I enjoyed that. So
as I said, that one's pretty much a blur for me. Besides, the sex scene was cool. I'll agree he was a pretty good character. But then it just kind of was like a mush of so much. Like, so it's hard to distinguish it. I won't be remembering it as far. I mean, I don't remember it today. I read it like 4 days ago, and I'm like, I can't. I didn't even remember his name was Riley either. So there you go.
Yeah.
Didn't you say that this was like a part of another series?
Yeah. When we get to what didn't work, that's when I points.
Okay.
That's when I points. I don't know. Is there anything else that worked in this book for anybody else?
No.
According to the reviews, a lot of it worked.
Oh, really?
We talked about this.
Yes.
The only people
did mention they liked the explicit sex scene, though. So
what?
Somebody did mention in a review that they liked the explicit sex scene.
It was a good scene. It was. It was written. I thought it was written well. I knew where everybody's legs and arms were, which is a huge thing for me. I don't have to I don't like in sex scenes having to sit down and reread the scene over and over again to figure out where people's arms and legs are. That pisses me off. Because
or they like start a scene and then it's just kind of like he pumps 3 times and it's like, oh yay, we're done.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, is that really an explicit sex scene? Because you know.
No.
So it was a complete scene. We'll say that.
We had a start, we had movement, we had a climax, and then we had some nice little moments afterwards. It's great.
So it was a complete.
The most I read about this book were the reviews. So
yeah, but I mean, we talked about that.
And I saw that mentioned, so I was like, oh, somebody actually mentioned something that was in the book instead of just saying I liked it.
Exactly. Yeah. So many people just, you can tell they were on like the ARC teams for it, or they were like, let's read each other's books.
Yeah. It's got 1 2-star, and nobody even wrote anything for the 2-star.
Nice.
Yeah.
So.
I
mean, I gave it 3 stars because I finished it. It's more of a 2 for me, but I was like, I finished it. And
I think I gave this 2. Yeah, I gave this 2.
That's totally fair. I was probably being too nice.
All right, let's go to Delectable. What worked?
Yay. A lot for me worked with this one. I really liked it. I liked the meet cute. I liked the kid. I liked the ex-wife.
Yes.
I thought she was very reasonable.
She was very reasonable, even when she freaked out, and then she apologized. She's like, I know I'm jealous, but like, it's my kid. And he's like, no, you're right. That's fair. They were both so respectful to each other. And then I liked their chemistry. I loved, I really did. I loved a lot about this. I would say the first 50 to 60% were very strong with this one for me.
Yes.
Like I read, because I did read this one on one sitting, and I was honestly flipping the pages. It was holding my attention more than any of the other ones have. I was like, I was in it. Their chemistry was great. I loved how he handled like her freaking out the first time they were going to have sex, and how he was very like patient with that. Yeah, there we go. I liked a lot for this one, even though I gave this one 3.5 stars because a lot of things happened. But I was loving a lot about it actually, and I was like, oh, yay! I'm not feeling like this one's a burden. I'm enjoying this. So there's me.
All right, Becky, what'd you think?
I gave it 3 stars. I liked the single dad. I liked the workplace romance. I liked the kid. I thought he was cute. Although, again, much like the other single parent one we read, she gets introduced to him super fast.
Yeah, but it's a novella, Bex.
I know, but it's still. I felt like they had good chemistry. It wasn't like out of the water great for me, but it was decent. I liked the mom, and I thought they had good communication, and I thought they were a mature couple, except for that one thing that I saw coming that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And it was the whole reason why she left or something. I don't know. It was their whole miscommunication thing that I just thought was stupid.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, I liked Delectable. This one, it hit my food thing because I really wanted this had to do with food, and she was a chef.
I didn't think you would enjoy that. I thought you would be like disappointed because I didn't feel like there was a lot of food stuff in this one.
Well, there wasn't like it wasn't like the Lauren Blakely book where I was like hungry the entire fucking time.
I mean, she does work at a small cafe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
but like I like her talk with the cookies and the soup and like, you know, just kind of being in the kitchen. I enjoyed that.
Handmade pasta.
Yeah, and she made it into stars, which is dope. And it's cute. I loved the fact that in her head she was sitting there saying like, you know, this now granted my story's not the same for her, but I remember having those sit down moments when me and Lauren were getting together saying like, can I really be a mom? Like, can I do this? And she was having those internal moments and those internal struggles. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing that because I can relate to that. And I can relate definitely to the scene with the boy the first time she was alone. I was petrified. Nothing happened to Elizabeth, but I was petrified the first time I was left home alone with Elizabeth. And I could totally understand her like freak out and everything. So I was like, I completely, related to her a lot. And I loved him. I just thought he was all the gushy feels. I just wanted to take him home and snuggle him. I just loved him so much. I had a good time with him. Good time. A lot of stuff worked for me in this book. A lot of it. The pace of it worked. I think the storyline didn't drag. Jen, I was the same way. I was flipping and it was keeping my attention. There was very, very minor things that didn't work for me in this book. I only gave it 3 stars, but because I couldn't give it a 4-star, it wasn't strong enough for a 4-star for me. But I gave it a solid 3 for sure.
Yeah. I do half stars just because I like to have more range for a rating, but I rated it a 3 on Goodreads. I didn't round up to a 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, the thing that stopped me at the end is I was like, am I enjoying this so much because I haven't liked the other ones? And that's what I landed on, is I was like, I'm enjoying this a lot because I'm comparing it to the previous 3, which were misses for me. Yeah. But when I compare it to other contemporary romances of like minds, this doesn't, it's not a 4-star rating for me comparing this to any contemporary that I have given a 4 or 5 to. So that's kind of the thing, is I'm giving it a 3.5. And I feel good about it. I'm like, this was a decent book. I might even recommend it in a single parent rec video. I would feel okay doing that and not feeling like I was punking anyone by putting it in there. But it's also, the bar was very low.
Yeah.
The bar was really low.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 3 stars is a fair thing. And and that's why I should have given Comfort a 2, because
Exhausted Flamingo, like the dad and even the boss was awesome. I actually liked him. I could have done with more interaction with him. I would enjoy more interaction with him. I thought he was funny.
I would read his story.
The best friend, I really liked him too.
Yeah, Marco too. Yeah. I wonder if this author has other books too. Because
what was that?
I said I wonder if this author has other books about
these characters. I don't know, because when I looked at the end, she had quite a list of books at the end of her stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but anyway.
She's got the Portwood Brothers series, Love and Harmony series, the Harris Family series.
Yeah, no, I saw those.
Yeah, so quite.
I just wondered if any connected with.
Oh no,
with this.
That'd be cool to know.
I would read Marco's book. It sounds like he has a messy, on again, off again type thing.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah. So.
This one has fewer reviews than the last one. I mean, if they're all going to review on each other's things, you think they'd all have the same amount of reviews?
No.
What didn't work for her in this book was
God.
Female character. No chemistry, personality, but I want some of the recipes. I want the star chicken noodle soup recipe. I thought that was kind of dope.
I liked her, but I have some issues about her. If we're gonna go to what didn't work,
if we're good on what worked, do you guys want to move on?
Yeah, because
okay,
I do have my reasons why it plummeted for me.
Okay, since we're on Delectable, how about we just stick with Delectable still, and what didn't work?
I mean, I feel like we bitched about what didn't work with Comfort, you and me.
Yeah.
You and I. I think we did that because I had more than him. What didn't work in this one, and this is some of the same problems that I was having with other books, is her PTSD was not explained to me enough. I'm very confused about why she has it. I understand what they're going for, but I'm like, where is the sexual trauma coming from? Because she's explained that I know some of it comes from the job, but also she was a virgin. Not that you have to have been raped to have sexual trauma, but I don't know, it just wasn't followed through enough for me. Also, the family drama that we were sharing, which you definitely can have scars from a family like cutting you off that way and treating you that way. But there was also no, like, I didn't feel like she dealt with those issues at all. So then I'm like, why put them in and have her dad be like a voice in her head if we're not going to resolve it?
Yes.
That was the biggest issue with that, is I'm like, we have her have this sexual trauma and him being very gentle with it. Cool. But also, I don't feel like the things that she explained that happened to her match up with what her trauma was.
I completely agree.
Right. And not that that's ever perfect. But when you're telling a story, you kind of need to make it mirror each other, even if that's not like a real life, like where it would come. But it didn't match, because I mean, the guy that she had like been with, he had just said like, you're bad at this. And like, that was it. And I was like, I mean, I'm not saying that would be fun to happen to you, but I don't think that equals sexual trauma to the point that
you're in the fetal position in a closet.
Yeah, you would flee away from your love interest that way. And then again, the family stuff also, her dad is this voice in her head telling her she can't do stuff. And then like, we don't really resolve those issues. So we just leave her kind of hanging with her issues, which again, might be realistic, but also in a story that isn't going to have a part 2, we need to discuss said trauma and how it would work, especially if this man is going to marry her and bring her into the life of him and his son. And she's going to be a parent now. So how are you going to be a parent who's different from the parent you had? Like, that's the mirror that I needed to see happen. And everyone else believed in her that she could do it. Even the ex-wife, who again was very supportive of her, and is like, she's like, I was so calm when there was something happening. Like, I wouldn't have been that way with anyone. I trust her. And I'm like, where's your trust coming from? Because she made your kid soup? Like, she made your kid soup and you just think she can handle it? Anyway, I'll stop now. So no, this is where completely... like, there was these things that were really sweet and I was liking, but then there was these lists of like issues, which are all great, but I actually think this one needed another 50 pages to deal with some of the issues for me to feel good about the HEA. So it wasn't that I disliked anything being laid out, but it didn't work how we resolved it. And then having him propose after only like 3 months. I was like,
It's that damn novella thing again. They had to squeeze it in there.
Right. But then don't give her so many issues. Like, just give her one. Like, give her, okay, we have sexual trauma. And
I feel like her issues were like there to move the plot as thin as it was along.
Right. Like, and then
but they didn't. And then my final
thing, and it didn't. No.
The final thing too is her lying that they had known each other. Like, who cares?
Oh my God, I know, right?
Yes. Right. Like, we didn't need to make the ex-wife look bad for recognizing that. And we didn't need him to be like, you're a liar.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you didn't remember her. And it's not like you had any significant things. Like, it's not like you did something bad that she's ignoring or she did something bad. You knew of each other.
Yeah.
I
was reading this and I was like, I hadn't got to that, but I was like, either the conflict is going to be that, oh, she lied that she knew me, or it was going to be like she caught like the ex's, him hugging her ex or something like that. And I was like, I got to it. I'm like, oh, there it was. She lied because she didn't, like, you weren't that big a part of her life, dude.
We had him say, don't lie to me because it's an issue. And as soon as you said that, I agree, Bex. I was like, well, she's going to lie about knowing him. And it's like, well, like, it literally didn't matter. It didn't matter. And so this was a book that didn't need a miscommunication like this, because it is a novella and you've already given her emotional issues. The emotional issues are what needed to be solved, not her lying by omission. So
I mean, like, oh, I forgot to tell you. I saw you in the hallway at high school like 3 times. My bad. Should have told you that.
Like, when she stood up for herself during that fight, I was just kind of like, if I was in that situation, I probably would have said the same thing. Be like, I'm sorry. You didn't even fucking remember me either. So I remembered you. You didn't acknowledge me. Do I really want to bring that into our dynamic and say, hey, by the way, I totally remembered you in high school, but I was not even a blip on your radar. But now I am. Thank you for reminding me that I was a nobody in fucking high school. Like, that's what I would have said in that whole conversation. It would have been turned completely different. So when I saw that, I was like, this is a mute point. This is stupid. Move on. Me and my husband went to high school, and I said 3 words to him probably the entire time we were in high school.
Exactly.
So, like,
did you get upset, Jackie, when you finally got together and you didn't tell him that you knew each other in high school?
He had a crush on me in high school. I was upset that he didn't tell me had a crush on me in high school. And I'm like, I was single in high school all the fucking time. Why didn't you say something? Could have gone to prom with somebody. Her? No. It was a joke at that point. Because I'm like, well, it's high school. Moving on. But no, I completely agree, Jen, like everything you said, the emotional issues, the sexual trauma, like awesome they were there, but you didn't do anything with them. And they didn't match. I completely agree. They didn't match up with what the stories we were getting. And even I kind of understood his dilemma with the lying, because I think his fury with being lied to about, not being related to his brother, and his wife knowing. Oh, we just lost Jen. Oops. I think she'll come back.
Come back, Jen. Come back.
She's probably having a snowstorm or something.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, here she is. Yeah, she's coming. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I thought that was a stupid conflict to have in there. I was like, are you joking with me?
I mean, it wasn't stupid because, like, I don't like lying either. Like, it pisses me off.
But it's not really lying. Like, it was such a stupid thing to consider a lie. Like,
but yes, it was.
I didn't know you. Like, so stupid. But,
Hello. You're unfrozen now?
My computer's had a hard day. Yeah.
It's all right.
I knew it was going to happen.
I saw you glitch a little while ago. I was like, she might go out. But yeah. The lying thing, like, I get, being very infuriated with lying because, I don't like lying at all. But I almost wish the author would have actually maybe had them encounter each other in high school and her lie about something actually worthwhile lying about.
Right.
Something, because his reaction to not liking lying, like I was saying before you cut out, Jen, is that I get where he was coming from, because he was lied to by his family and by his wife, who knew that his brother wasn't his actual brother. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get that. And I understand that. But this is high school. This is not,
did his reaction match the action? Did his reaction match?
No.
No, he blew up over something that was.
It was
because what it should have been. Here's what it should have been. You'd make the anxiety of him finding out the conflict. And then when he finds out, he's like, I've just been waiting for you to tell me, like, I feel bad I didn't recognize you, but I was disappointed that you lied about it, but whatever. Like, and that makes him a very swoony hero, and also gives it the level of drama that it should have. Because it's not like she was someone who cheated on him, or like had lied about something on a test, or something that had caused harm to him, and she's the cause of it. It literally was like they existed in the same building at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? So did thousands of other people, or wherever. It's like, you probably wouldn't even know most of the people from your school on the street if you saw them today.
No.
So it just made him look really petty, because it's like, again, yes, nobody likes someone to lie to their face, but it was just such a dumb thing to ruin their relationship going so well,
I almost wish it would have been like he would have gone to her best friend's house and found them snuggling on the couch or something, and
they did in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, that would have made more sense for his overdramatic reaction than what it was.
Or even her trying to, because she didn't know about how she was going to be as a parent, because she didn't have the best role models of parents, and that was the only thing she went off of. So she was just going off what she knew with Max, the son, and him stepping in and be like, no, that's not how this is going to work, because this, and then going into that way. So that would have brought the childhood trauma with her family involved in an actual plot that was working, and saying, look, this is how I was. I don't know any better. Like, I don't know. Like, because she wasn't physically abused and she wasn't sexually abused in the family. She was just made to feel
belittled.
less than. Yeah, she was belittled.
She was emotionally abused.
Yeah. So I could see that being a catalyst for an argument more than the lying thing, for sure. Yeah. And I think it would have made the novel stronger. But I also understand people don't want to do stuff with kids, because some people don't like dealing with the kid level because they don't want that with them. And that's fine. So, but I would have much rather seen something stronger for the, I guess, third act breakup. I guess that's what we were calling that that time. It would have been stronger had it been, because there were so many options for something stronger for it.
Yeah.
And they
like, even if he like had overreacted to what happened with his son,
right?
Yes, that would have been a stronger like third act thing. But I liked how that was resolved within the story.
I like the way that he handled that, and bringing into. I mean, this isn't something that didn't work, because I thought the mom worked really well. But Jen, you mentioned something like she's giving all of her trust. Where's the trust coming from? Yeah, like I'm Elizabeth's stepmother. But I would still be like, I don't trust you, like, at all. And she's my stepdaughter. So, coming from that realm, mom was super, he makes good choices. She's fine, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you met her for a grand total 2 seconds. And you remember from high school for passing out, giving a speech. Like, that's what you remember her.
Because she was proud to, or not proud, she was correct to be like, you just let her come over and feed him soup when I haven't met her. Like, that was a proper reaction where she's like, I need to meet her. And he's like, well, I'm not like ready to have you meet her. She's like, well, then she doesn't need to be around my kid. And I'm like, I have no problems with this. She's not being picky. She's
and then a chapter later, she was like, I trust her.
So, but then if the ex-wife had been like, she hasn't told you that, like, she knows you, like, now I'm like, well, why hasn't she told you? Like, and that would have at least been a conflict of like, of the ex-wife being like, is she keeping secrets? Like, I don't understand why she wouldn't have told you. And then that seeds the distrust in him because of that. But to have the wife trust her, but then still kind of it be her fault that she it was like, what are we doing with this?
Yeah, she apologizes for causing drama. It's like, why are you apologizing when you just acknowledge that you remember her in high school? Apparently you have better memory than your ex-husband. Like, that's all that told me. That was it.
Right. So, yeah.
The one other thing that didn't work, and I thought it was just kind of like, okay, you need to give the character Jace, like, you had to give him something else. He had family problems too. His family, didn't really disown him, but just wouldn't get off the idea that he got divorced. And, and I can kind of see where that came from. But again, it wasn't really dealt with. It just kind of ended. And it's like, okay, so you have a mutual family issue on both sides. That could have been something that they could have, like, they didn't even really bond over. They talked about it, but they didn't really bond over it. It could have been something they could have bonded together with, be like, hey, we're both now, like, we don't have families, because they were both kind of like disowning us and stuff. And all he kept doing was like, well, my family wasn't like that. At least I still have my family. And then at the very end, he's like, no, I quit. Bye. And like cuts him off cold turkey. Like, what? Okay, cool. I guess. I don't know where that came from.
Are they so bad that you're not going to let them see their grandson anymore? Like,
I guess he just walked in and said, I'm going to quit he quit his family business, and his dad's like, you can't. And he's like, well, if you don't accept the woman that I love, then that's that. And walks out. Okay. Well, that's cool. So like I think there was a lot of strength in this book, but it wasn't flushed out, and it wasn't utilized the right way. There was a lot of really good pieces, but they just weren't put together correctly. But I still had a really good time with this book. I thought it was very sweet for most of it.
I come back to it was definitely readable, and like it was easy to get through.
Yeah.
But again, if it was standing on its own, this is a lower book for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I wouldn't have been like, oh wow, I can't wait to read another book by this author or anything. If it wasn't within the ABCs and I'd had some duds.
No, I don't think I'd seek out this author.
Right.
I might. Well, that's a question. We'll get to that in a second. So, all right. So let's see if there's any connections. Did you find any connections in these books?
Did. I found it.
I did find some too.
I did not because I wasn't looking. So,
well, it's probably because you DNF'd the first two, so you like.
Yeah.
You've erased from your memory.
I won't be the connection queen for these, but I'm excited. Tell me what they are, would you please?
And well, I can't speak for Comfort because I didn't read that. But Delectable, she leaves to go spend time with a friend, and that friend is an actress who starred in a movie with the stupid girl from Amour, who was also an actress.
Snowball movie. That she ends up finally being the Christmas romance snowball movie. She's in it with it, and she hates it. She thought the movie was dumb.
Well, with that chick as an actress, it probably was.
Yeah, and then she also got to the actress friend also uses Riley's Pelican security department.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That was really, really quick and blipped, but I was like, wait a minute. That's Comfort. Yes. So we have a Amour connection and a Comfort connection in Delectable. And in Comforts, our connections, crap, what was it? It was connected to Beckon because
who does the hero in Amour do his private security for? Is it that company?
No, he does it for the police. He doesn't do it for anybody.
I don't think it was.
Well, he does Pelican. Private stuff.
But I don't think it was through Pelican. I'll have to look that back up because I don't think it was.
That's just Pelican. What I'm asking. Like, he doesn't just work for the police. That he works at the club.
Yeah, I'll look that one up because I don't think it was Pelican, but they did name it. But I don't think it was the Pelican
Bay. This might be a bouncer for them, but I was just wondering.
But do we think that like the friend she went and met? Do we think she's going to be the main character in a future book?
I think so, for sure, because she's got stories. Like there was a moment in this book, and I want to say it was with her that, or no, it was Travis. It was Travis. It was the boss, where I feel like I'm supposed to have already met this guy before, but I haven't. So I felt like he might be a character later on, and the actress I think might be. I just get that feeling, that vibe, because they spent a lot of time with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like we spent a whole chapter and a half with her, and
that had to be set up.
Yeah, but the Comfort connection, it's really minute. The Riley has to go to New York for something, and he takes an Uber that had a Queen of England bobblehead, which was what our driver in Beckon drove. She had the bobblehead of the Queen because the female, I can't remember the female's character's name in Comfort right now because I blocked it out. I can't remember her name.
Tamitha.
Yeah, Tamitha. She had Tamitha was in Beckon. I'm talking about the female in Comfort,
which you didn't read.
She had a thing
for Riley and Cassandra.
Yeah, Cassandra. Yeah. She had this thing with English, like the English monarchy, that Riley never understood. And so he mentioned that to her. That he rode in a taxi cab with that. And also, she likes the actress from Amour. She likes her films.
Oh my God. She has bad taste.
Yeah. I don't know if she mentioned the Snowballs in December movie, which was the holiday movie. But I thought that was really cool that I like these Easter eggs. I kind of like these little bitty tie-ins, and I'm hoping they get stronger throughout this kind of series. It's kind of fun to pick them up because I'm like, oh, that's that one. Like that kind of kept me on the edge of my seat a little bit. I enjoyed that. That was fun. So, but those were the only ones that I caught. But
I mean,
I definitely think Travis, and we'll see Mia, I think is the actress's name. I think it was the friend's name. We'll definitely see her because she just kind of comes out of the blue. Like all of a sudden, this girl who moved around a lot, is a missionary, doesn't really know a lot of people, is really quiet, has this friend who's this big actress that like jets her off to Colorado without fucking telling her. I'm like,
where's these friends at?
Exactly. Like, what? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I had a really good time. A better round with these than I did the first two, even though Comfort was kind of a dud for me.
I mean, I still personally like Beckon. That one was my favorite so far.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. There are some I'm very excited about, but let's keep going. What other questions you got before I?
The next one is the smut level.
Yeah.
We did have some good smut scenes in this.
Delectable, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, good ones. The scene in Comfort wasn't too shabby. Like, it was fine.
No, that I like a good wall sex scene, maybe because I'm fucking jealous because I can't do that shit. It takes a certain type of person to be able to do that, and I'm always jealous that I'm not.
skinny chick privilege.
Exactly.
It's definitely a thing. Or unless you're dating like the Mountain or something.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, we know like my smut scale. So for me, the first one was like a 1.5 because there was a full complete scene, but just the one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was a 2 for me because there was more than one, but they were still pretty vanilla. Going on, but they were fun. Like, that's the thing. The ones in Delectable like were kind of fun. Like, I loved the one where he's like, "You're on a birth control, are you?" Because I don't have a condom. And she's like, "No," but he's like, "Well, guess we'll have to wait." And she's like, "Oh, wait, I have a." She's like, "Marco threw these. He left these on my table, and I have them." And he's like, "Okay, cool. Well, instead of being like mad at Marco, it's like, great.
Yeah,
I'll have to thank him later that he left."
Yeah. Because you brought home a dude. That's what I thought was hilarious. It was that Marco thought it was a chick. I was like, yes.
I know. I was like, that's an interesting thing.
I'm like, can we have a book about that? Because that would be great. I would love that. No, I love
the pretty fun.
The wall sex scene. I thought was a lot. Okay, the two books compared, the one scene in Comfort was much steamier than the two that we had in this one, because the two that we had in this one were very,
Yeah, he's easing her into stuff.
Yeah.
I honestly can't even remember the smut scenes in Delectable. I know they were there, but I couldn't remember them.
I like them because I like healing sex. It's mine, like, way up there. And so I love the, like, you can say no at any time, tell me what you need. And the first time cunnilingus ever happens, I love that. When she's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "I'm very sure.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to love this. So just shut the fuck up and let me do it."
Yeah. And I love scenes like that, even though I'm always kind of like, why are people scared of that? But anyway, that's not my journey. Yep. So whatever. But she'd been made to feel very bad about her body and her sexuality. So, but again, not explained well enough.
No.
Not explained well enough. Because
no, like, I was expecting
a much a topless bar. You should have been comfortable with your body to a certain degree, because you were just out there with it. It's not that you maybe would necessarily feel comfortable with other people touching it, but like, I feel like you would be comfortable in it if you're used to just showing your tatas to everybody. You just are kind of like, there they are. Like,
although I did find it interesting, I don't know if anybody else picked this up, is that she worked in a topless bar, right?
Yep.
Every time we got the description of her undressing, she only took her top off. That was the only piece of clothing that she ever removed. And then he had to remove everything else off because she would stop at that part. That was the only connection I could find to like this sexual trauma, because she couldn't go any further. Like she refused to go any further. Because both sex scenes, it's clearly described that like she's on the bed and she lifts the shirt up and then she leaves everything else on. She doesn't do anything else. And he pisses him off because he's like, take the rest of it off. Like, this is annoying. So I thought that was really unique that she always had her stop right there. And I'm like, maybe that's something to do with the sexual trauma? Like, she can't go any further because this is all she is comfortable with? Maybe. I don't know.
I didn't pay enough attention to that.
I kind of wish I had more description on the freaking tattoo that was on her back, that we got like a whole bunch of description of what it looked like, but like not really the story behind it, which is kind of annoying. But I like that he enjoyed the tattoo. I like that. You know what I really liked about is like, I like when the men are described. I do. I really, really enjoy that because I like to visualize it. But he wasn't described to the point where I could really clearly see. I could still imagine what he looked like. And he wasn't, you know, this perfect god. He was kind of like a regular dude in the description. And I thought that worked for the story. It worked for his character because it never mentioned, you know, gym nut. He never seemed to have free time to like do any of that kind of stuff, you know. So him not being described as like this Greek god was like, thank you for understanding that he's not even in that role. He sits behind a fucking desk.
Yeah, he has a dad bod.
Yeah, exactly. And you gave him that. Thank you for that. But I did like Riley's description in Comfort. His description was nice. And it completely fit his character because he worked out all the time. He was a security.
Private security.
Yeah, in a town that apparently is completely wired for sound. The whole fucking town. Whatever. that was one of my biggest things that didn't work in that book was that whole fucking town. Like,
how small the whole
town is wired and on cameras. Really? All right. Weird.
It's probably a cult.
Probably. Maybe there'll be a connection with our missionaries in another one. I don't know. They went to Pelican Bay one time. So, yeah. So, what was your smut rating for Delectable? If Comfort was a 1.5.
It was a 2.
2. Okay.
Because like there was more than one scene, but they still weren't very like detailed or anything. So or like over the top. So perfectly adequate. A lot of historical romances are 2s for me, and I still have a good time.
From what I can remember, that's probably what I would have given it to, was a 2.
Yeah.
All right.
What
the
about you, though?
For me? The first one, let me see what I give. What did I give the small level on that one? I don't remember. I think I gave it a 1.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down. I think I said I gave it a 1. And this one, I'm still kind of debating if it's a 1.5 or a 2 for me, because like I use your scale, Jen, the one that you created, but like for me, even if it doesn't based on the number of scenes, it's like their graphicness. I don't feel like those 2 were very graphic, even though there were 2 scenes, they still weren't. And I'm sorry, like we got some description of the oral sex scene on him, but I only got this timid, like, do you really want to do this on her? And we didn't really get a full frontal, like we did, but we didn't. We got more an instruction manual on how to do it right. During it, he's just like in his inner monologue, like you have to work around. You can't go straight for it. People who go straight for it don't know what they're doing. Okay, all right, because I don't know, but like I'm still teetering between a 1.5 and a 2 on it. I think maybe like a 1.75. Maybe it's like that for me.
Sure,
because I like some good missionary vanilla every once in a while, but I like the slap and tickle a lot more.
Ow.
Are you okay?
My cat just bit my foot. Sorry.
Well, cats are assholes. That's why I like them. The epitome of indifference. They don't give a fuck. They're the domesticated.
You're not paying me attention, goddammit.
All right. Let's see. What's the next? Authors. Okay. So, have any of you read these authors before?
Nope.
Neither have I. Based off of the installment that you read, would you pick them up again?
No.
I would on both of them, and here's my reasons why. So the first one, I would definitely pick her up just because that book was the second in a fucking series, and there was some shit in there that I missed because it was the second in a series, which pissed me off. That shit's annoying as crap. I hate that. So I want to pick up that first book just to figure out what I missed, and maybe it will flesh out some of the unknown questions that I had in that book, and some of the issues that I had with it might go away. So that's one reason why I want to pick her up. The second one is I had a good feeling with what's her name? Emily Robinson. I got a good feel about it. Yeah, I had a lot of unanswered questions and there was a lot of issues that weren't resolved, but I like the feeling that book gave me. So I might pick up another one of hers just to see if I get that same kind of feel good feeling or if it was just that one story. So these two I would probably pick up again. Don't know when. Don't know if I ever will, but I'm not saying no to them based off of this installment. Let's see. We got a new comment. Let's see what it is. Dogfight. The Dogfight Club is done just to hear about the authors. There you go.
Well, we'll have playback available.
Yes.
I mean, my qualification is that if I was going to get the ex-wife story or Travis or maybe both of them together, I would possibly pick up another one because or Marco, like I would. My question will be is that if any of those characters will be in this series or if they belong to this author and they would write them.
Maybe.
Because as we continue, if one of them pops up, I would be happy about that.
Yeah.
But
there was some flirtation between Travis and the wife.
Right.
There was.
Or like I would pick up another one by this author if it was one of those characters, but it wouldn't be at the top of any like list or anything. But I would be willing for that, but just randomly another one of theirs, no, I wouldn't. Like it would need to be connected with what they had. Yeah. And I would like it to be a full novel because I think this author needed more runway for the story they were telling. And I don't know why everyone's sticking to novella length. I mean, I like that because that's the reason I was able to get through both of them. But also, like, if you're going to tell a bigger story, I need you to give it the page count. Like, don't cut it off like this. So,
yep. So, Becky, you wouldn't pick up Emily again?
I wouldn't seek her out, let's put it that way. Like, if I saw a book and, like, the cover or the synopsis appealed to me, and she just happened to be the author, I'd probably read it. But, like, I'm not gonna go check out her other books and try and find one to read.
Fair enough.
The Comfort one, I just want to know if there was issues in the first book. Like, if I read the first book, if some of my issues would be clear with the second book, because I feel like it would be. Because
I don't think they should have even done that. I feel like with this series, they should not link them to like previous books because
I feel like that was a cheap way out for that author. It's like, oh well, I'm just gonna I asked to be part of this like I feel like she was asked to be part of this project, and she was already in the middle of this series, so she's like, well, this is the book I'm working on currently, so I'll just rework a few elements, and maybe that's where some of the loss happened, like some of the weird plot balls in the air got thrown in there to kind of make it tie into this and then dropped it. And I don't think that was really fair. It's also not it's not broadcasted that it's a second installment, but it definitely is. So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to the comments. I would read Emily Robinson again. I give her another try. It wasn't the writing per se that I found fault with, but just more the story and maybe some better characters. Yep. I could see that. She does have some flushing out issues to do, which I think I agree with Jen that if we had a longer novel, she would have been able to handle that had she been able to been given the space. Because I don't know if they were given like a page count or a word count or they were told to keep under a certain length, but so far they all have been novella length. So who knows? All right. And final thoughts and takeaways. What are you guys' final thoughts on these installments?
I need people to stop introducing trauma that they don't handle it. Because, like, a reason why I'm okay with I don't want to call this dark content, but with trigger content is if people are going to walk through it and like have a resolution to it. These different kinds of trauma that were introduced and then not dealt with at all are just kind of leaving people hanging with stuff. Now, that happens in real life, yes. But in real life, it's not a romance with an HEA always, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, that's what did really spoil Delectable with it. I might have been even kinder to it if I'd felt like it handled that stuff well. But I think people like to introduce things for conflict and then not have a resolution to it. So for me, that trauma was put in there to be something the characters needed to like work through so that they could have sex, but not deal with so that they can have a happy life together. Because those triggers could come up after they've been together 1 to 10 years if we're not like looking at why they popped up. So that's just a thing for me. And I don't think that only happens in this book. I don't think this author's the only one who's sinned this way. But especially in contemporary where there isn't a dark romance like tag to it, I think authors do that a lot where they're like, this person has a trauma, but because this isn't a dark romance, we're not going to dive into it. I'm like, well, then don't give them the trauma. Because if you're going to introduce the trauma that is getting in the way of intimacy, you can't just have it be like, oh, well, I'm ready to have sex with you now. Like, we had one conversation and I'm ready to strip down and have sex with you because I trust you enough to do that. Trauma doesn't care about trust all the time. You know, sometimes trust is enough. But anyway, that's my like rant on that as someone who's a dark romance lover. Mm-hmm. And the reason I love dark romance is that it dives deep into a trauma and then like helps us get through it to an HEA.
Yeah.
But I think it's, you know, this is something that has got talked about in the romance community on like TikTok a lot, is a contemporary book that is maybe even kind of a rom-com or is a lighter book, and you slam a trauma into it, but then it doesn't do anything. You just said, oh, this person has a trauma so that I can be diverse or so that I can deal with the thing, but then like you didn't deal with it. Mm-hmm. But a dark romance author who has trigger warnings on theirs is very careful with their dark content. And so this is where I'm like, if you're writing a contemporary and putting that in there, I think you need to deal with it. That's my point. Sorry, that's long.
No, I completely agree. 100%. I have a huge problem with in books in any type of genre where you give me some kind of plot line or plot storyline and then you leave it hanging. And if it's a multi-book series, then that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But if it's not, the fuck you just give me that for? You just wasted my time. Give me something else that you're actually going to utilize. Like it's almost like a shock value at that point, and I don't like shock value. I don't like when authors kill characters off just to fucking off them. It's like you got lazy at that point. You didn't want to deal with them anymore, so you're taking the easy way out. If there's a valid reason for everything, for the death, for the trauma, for this hookup, for this backstabbing, for whatever, if there's valid reason for all of it, then so be it. Lay it on me. I will take it. I will eat that shit up. But I want reasons. I want resolutions. I want consequences. I want actions.
Yep.
You know, I also want dialogue when it comes to trauma. Like, one of the ways to work through trauma is through talking through it. And if you don't really talk through it in multiple forms, then you're not going to be able to do what you need to do. Especially at the level of trauma like they did in Delectable. It's like she was curled up in the fetal position in what sounded like a closet. Like, I immediately expected, like, oh my God, she was actually like sexually assaulted by her parents. You know, that's immediately where mine went. I'm like, oh, this just got dark really fucking fast. And it wasn't. I got told I was bad at sex.
Yeah.
The fuck? What?
Yep.
What? Okay. I mean, that sucks.
And sex should not be a way to get past that trauma either.
Exactly. You know?
Any kind of trauma, really.
Maybe the guy was
just
using
sex as therapy.
Well, I mean, let's say like BDSM can be used as therapy for trauma.
Yes.
But not just like, oh, let's just bang it out and get rid of your trauma. Yeah. No. Like, those are not the same thing.
Yeah, and that's what this was. It was just like, let's have sex and get
we're gonna do it, and then you never hear about it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, she's great at it now.
Yeah. She's becoming more adventurous. Okay, well, she was in the
For
fetal
that one
position yesterday.
time.
Obviously she's not that bad at it, cool.
She came to an epiphany after that one dickin', huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was really funny because I don't think he even said that guy, like he said beforehand, I want to punch that guy in the face or something, but he didn't say anything after they had sex. I don't think he did. I have to go back and check, but I don't think he actually said anything like, oh no, that guy was totally wrong. He didn't say anything like that, which might have actually like worked in its advantage. At least that was some kind of resolution, like, hey, I tried it. You're not that bad. You're not great, but you're not perfect. But like that's the other thing. Okay, don't get me wrong, I love sex in books. I love it. I love it. But the first time two people have sex, it's not always fucking fireworks. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes kind of fucking awkward. And I want the awkwardness written in. And this woman would have been awkward. This scenario in real life would have been awkward as fuck. And there was no awkwardness. It was smooth. Minus the condom.
I have a whole, like, I don't know if I did make a video, but I look for bad sex.
Yeah.
I love reading bad sex that is then good later.
Yeah.
Or, like, yeah. Because even if you're good at it, you might be bad at it with someone else. Or, like, you don't communicate well enough. And then it's bad. But, anyway.
They're two different, like, you're new to this person. Like, they don't know, unless you've sat down and had all your little conversations about, like, this is what I'm into. They don't know going into it. And most people don't have those conversations because why? A, they're completely uncomfortable to have. Most people don't want to have them. Two, they're like, I want to be surprised. No, you fucking don't, because then you're going to bitch about it later. Like, so, like, I that sex scene, although I enjoyed it, I was just in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, that went a lot smoother than it probably should have. Minus the condom issue, which was funny. That was a funny time. So
authors don't like writing bad sex. They don't do it, but I think it makes it awesome.
It makes it more real, and like I know it's fiction. I know romance is fiction, but romance is based off of something real. It's a real human emotion that people want to feel. So having some kind of real element in, not all romance books need that realistic element for me, but contemporary ones, I need to feel some kind of relation and realness to it to really get behind it. I like the dark stuff because I don't have to have the realness with it. But when I do get the realness with the dark stuff, oh my God, give me, thank you. Like orgasm myself on that one. I love that. I love realness with dark. I love it because that's just like poetry to me. It's just,
I'm much more forgiving with fantasy than I am contemporary.
What was that?
I'm much more forgiving with my fantasy than I am my contemporary. With my contemporary, like you, I need some, like, my brain is just like, this needs to be some level of realistic.
The other things, we'll just say this, that when they happen, I get very happy about in books. When people don't come at the same time, love it. Put it in more books.
Yep.
Sometimes you need to take turns at that. It's not always at the same time. And when there are scenes where, and I don't want to read this all the time, but I like in scenes sometimes when, I mean, it's usually the woman that this is happening for, but they don't like need to have had an orgasm. Sometimes they just want the intimacy of being with the person. Yep. And again, I don't need to read that all the time because I'm here for everybody to get some. But there are particular authors I love who do that, where like the morning after, when she's just like, I just want to hold you, so you just do what you want to do. I'm just getting the intimacy out of the moment. And some authors are just like, no, everyone's got to be getting every single time, both. Yep. Many, many, many times. And I'm like, that's fun sometimes, but that's also exhausting. So anyway, those are my quirks. I just wanted to share those. When that pops up in a book, it's just that extra like, oh, yes. Sometimes this is okay to just be like, it's not always someone's taking advantage of someone. It's because of the consent to the moment is what I really like. It isn't, he just said, fuck off, I'm not getting you there. It's her being like, no, like, I'm tired. I don't need that. I'm just here for this.
I'm here for you. Yeah, you just want to make them feel good. Yep.
I love when that happens sometimes. Yeah. It's got to be the right time. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I totally agree.
Synced orgasms are like 90% of what romance authors do. And I'm like, literally 90% every time it's got to be at the same time. I'm like, that's just so not.
The come on command. I hate that.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean,
it's like, come for me now. I'm like, well, I was already there, but sure.
I read BDSM romance, so I love come on command. But in like contemporary stuff, again, like put the realism in there. Put the uncomfortableness after. Put the waddle to the bathroom after.
I think that's funny when they put that in books.
I love that. Like I just read that in what I'm reading. I was like, this is exactly it. It was actually in a sci-fi because it's a character with like nodding and there's copious amounts of fluid. And so, yeah, she's like, I got to get to the bathroom. Get off of me. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Anyway,
I love when there's like an aftercare element. Like just the simple line of he went to the restroom and got me a cold rag or a warm rag to clean up with. I'm just like, shit's real. Shit's real. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Because that shit happens.
Let's finish your questions. I'm
That's it. That's it. That's the thoughts and takeaways. That's it.
Oh, we got to talk about the next books. This is why I'm like really excited.
Okay, so the next books are.
We got some good books coming up.
We got Eternal from Nicole Blanchard. I think it's how you say her name, or Blanchard. Yeah. And then we have Found by Ellie Wade. So we're doing E and F on our next live show, and we've already agreed on the time and date, right? We're good. Yep. So March 25th, my channel, 7:30. So it's the last Saturday in March again. And we'll be doing those two books. And since you're so excited about them, Jen, you want to talk about them?
Well, I mean, the tropes I'm just excited for. So Eternal is supposed to be an amnesia romance with.
Oh, I hate that trope.
Well, it's one of my favorite ones. So
I like that one.
I love amnesia so much. And then the other one is Firefighter Hero and Mean Girl Redemption. And I also love that.
I do love a good firefighter. I do. I like
it's also an interracial romance too. So.
Ooh, yay. That's awesome.
So I'm excited too, because the ones after that, we finally get a male author for G and H, I think it is. We have a male author coming up.
Yeah.
And it's an author I wanted to read.
Watson.
I've bought some of it. What do you say?
The April's books are by S.R. Watson and Ryan Stacks, and then T.L. Travis.
There we go. Yeah. Ryan Stacks is someone I've meant to read for years now because he had a TikTok and he's like godlike looking himself. He looks like kind of like Jason Momoa. And he's been on covers himself. Ryan Stacks has been. Anyway, I've wanted to read his books before and I haven't got around to it, but
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But anyway, I mean, I'm glad this month went better for me anyway. Personally, these ones were better for me. So it makes me more excited for like the next ones because when you have two DNFs, I was kind of like, what am I getting into? We have 26 of these to do.
Yeah.
I don't think Eternal is available on Kindle Unlimited.
Huh?
I don't think Eternal is available on Kindle Unlimited.
No, they aren't all.
Yeah.
It's only on paperback.
My Kindle's over there. So
I won't be reading that one.
Let's see.
Wait, who's that one by?
Unless it becomes available.
Who's it by, Jackie? Eternal?
Eternal is by Nicole Blanchard.
Nicole Blanchard. Okay.
I just saw that the paperback was the only thing available.
That can't be right.
No.
Well, it's not coming up. That does scare me.
Oh, that does. Oh, see all formats and editions. Well, that's annoying.
I might have to message that author.
Yeah.
Maybe it's on their website, though. Like, I'll look her up.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I know you won't want to read if it's not on Kindle Unlimited, Bex, which is totally fine. But it might be available on the author's website to download. Because maybe she got kicked off of it or something. Yeah, I only see it in paperback. Let me look.
Yeah, me too.
Where is I can't find the Found one either. Who's the author of Found?
Ellie Wade.
That one is by Ellie Wade, yeah.
Nicole Blanchard. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Ellie.
That one is.
That one is, and it is the second in a series.
Oh, God damn it.
The Heroes of Fire Station 12. It's a duology.
Jesus Christ.
So if I have to read a book before that, I'm going to be annoyed. So.
Let me see. Oh, where's her books? Okay, Reckless. Ooh, she has a lot of alien romance. And she's written books with Kay Webster. What the heck? That's cool. Deal with the Dragon. Oh my gosh.
I like dragons.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing it. What is our bad luck this month?
They were all on Kindle when I started this, okay? I checked.
No, I know.
Looked at every single one of them.
I know. We might have to like rearrange things because we have to
find a different ebook.
Right. Well, we have 2 months that have 3 books in them.
We do. So, May is one of them.
Like, we didn't make art for all of it. We might have to like scooch some books around. Jackie.
Yeah, we can talk about that one.
Yeah, because I mean, I made this stuff, but I didn't post it anywhere yet. We're just telling you guys, which is just the few of us watching. So we might have to skip around in the alphabet a little bit. And
but you already posted you were reading those 2 in your TBR.
Well, yeah, but it won't be a big deal. I mean, if people can't read the books, they can't read the books. We'll have to move along. So we'll see if but you said you found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
when
on KU.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll.
It's 229 pages, so it's a little bit longer.
Ooh. Where is Found at?
On KU. Amazon.
Okay, yeah, that one's on KU. Yeah.
I'll do some more digging when I get my computer. But anyway, I was very excited for both of those, but
I'm still excited. Like, even if I have to buy the book or check it out from the library, it's fine.
Yeah. But we'll just if we need to, we'll just scooch a book back, which would actually not be the worst thing if we are able to scooch one over so that we don't have to do 3 1 month.
Yep.
So
well, we're just not going to be reading that one. We can talk to the author, see if maybe she'll be like, can you just send us a digital copy of this?
Well, I mean, yeah, but then nobody else would be able to do it.
Yeah.
Or be like, can you put this back up? Did you know that it's gone?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to buy a paperback of it.
And hate it.
The paperback is still available, which means like there's a digital file of it somewhere. So maybe it's on Eden Books because she has written some books with Kay Webster, and Eden Books is Kay Webster saying, so we'll look there. But anyway.
Well, if you guys anything else to say about these last 2 installments? No. All right. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. So we will see you guys all in March, hopefully for E and F, but we'll figure that out and let you guys all know. So,
yes.
All right. I'm going to end the broadcast. Bye, guys.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Eek.